All right, it's time for the June TBR. I'm getting over a cold, which happened right after the stomach bug. Doing great at the end of May. That's why at the end of May, I probably could have read more if I was healthy. But alas, so that's also why I'm in the middle of 2 books that I don't think I'll finish by the end of the month. So I'm like gonna show them to you guys. They're tentatively on the June TBR. Maybe I will, over the next 3 or 4 days, sit down and really finish them. I have no idea. So the first one is The Gin Bot of Shantyport. I have started this. I'm like 100-ish pages in. I'm having a really good time. I really wish it had an audiobook. I think it would thrive with an audiobook, especially with how it's told. So this is an Aladdin retelling in space loosely. There definitely are like some definite callback moments to certain plot moments and trope elements in Aladdin. So instead of a male Aladdin, it's a female Aladdin, Lena, and she is trying to befriend a not prince in the area. So there is a male Jasmine. And then there is a monkey bot brother type figure, Abu, who does like to touch things he shouldn't, but it's also much more nuanced than that. And our genie is this little robot up here. And our entire story is given to us in the frame of this robot and what he sees. I think they chose the he. I don't know. The pronouns are brought up and maybe I'm just not remembering them. And it's really interesting, the filter in which we are viewing this story and this world and this place that like, the world is ending. There are bot battles. There are different forces that control the city. There are definitely plans afoot, but we are not in on the plans. So it's very intriguing. There's a lot of intrigue here. I can only physically read it with the Kindle or my physical book. And when I was sick, that just wasn't really happening. And then when I started getting not sick, I got really stressed about a thing in the house that needed to be fixed. So it kind of broke my momentum. But I'm hoping to get back to this actually today. It's actually nice outside. And I don't think I want to make myself do yard work. So I might actually like sit on my patio for the afternoon and read for a bit. The other one I started as an audio, and that is Drop of Corruption. So this is my hardback of it that I bought with my indie bookstore haul. I think my my audio says I'm like 20% of the way through. So about a fifth with a couple days left. And I'm liking this a bit more than The Tainted Cup. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's so much more than The Tainted Cup. It's still at its core investigative mystery in a very cool fantasy setting. But what I will say is I think since I know really what it is, I have more buy-in to the project. Just baseline. I know exactly the expectations for going into this. But I also think the mystery's cooler. Like I think this mystery is just inherently cooler than the last book. So, and like obviously the world is still just very sticky and gross and cool in weird ways. So I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about this and The Tainted Cup because they've been wildly popular the last 2 years, as is Robert Jackson Bennett. But I'm excited to dive into this more. Like, unfortunately, even though I'm liking both of these, this one, because I have the audio, I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to sit down and really like parse out this mystery, which I don't feel with mystery novels often. So that's how you know, like for me, I find this intriguing. But I can listen to this on my commute, and when I do yard work, I can only read this when I have sit down to read time, so I should prioritize differently. So those are my current reads that, like I said, I might not finish in May. I might. You'll find out. So now the rest of the stack. So first, my buddy reads. So let's start with, for Patreon, we usually do like every quarter some sort of short story thing, and this summer we're going to read through the Hugo's short stories and novelettes. So these are like the short form Hugo stories. I think it's probably about 12 of them. Novelettes are a tiny bit longer than short stories, but they're not like obscenely long. They're not novella lengths, which is usually around 90 to 100 pages. There are word counts. I don't know. The translation of word count to pages does not work for my brain. So I'm going to set up those channels. And what's cool is I think this year you can almost get every short story or novelette for free. Like they're available on websites and things like that from the publishers. But also, if you haven't heard, like with the Hugo, you pay $50 to vote and nominate in the following year. But not only that, you get a packet. And this packet contains a boatload of books. It's like the ultimate humble bundle of books. So you get whatever those publishers and people choose to give. This year I hear it's incredibly long because one of the best series nominations is Stormlight Archive, and I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they gave the audiobooks for all 5 Stormlight books in that packet. So I'm just saying, $50 for at least, like, I mean, the novels are 6 novels. You know, you have a bunch of novellas. Like, there's a lot of electronic versions of books and different things available. I haven't, done it for myself yet, mainly because, like, I have such good library systems, so I just can get everything really easily. But I really should. There's some really value intensive in these packets, just because, especially nowadays, you can't even buy 2 hardback books for $50, right? Like, that's just not even in the cards. And you get to vote, and you get to nominate. So fun times. Next up for Buddy Reads, I have not gotten to Dragonbone Chair, but we found out the live show would be near the end of the month, so I felt okay pushing it to when I was in a better headspace. I have not picked it up yet. I have no idea if I'll like it. I'm still scared of it. Incredibly scared of it. But I think tentatively the live show would be the second to last week in June. So I think that's tentatively when we're thinking. I don't know if I'll be there or not, even if I've read it, because it tentatively overlaps with a time where I have someone in town. I don't know, but I still want to read it and see if I would like it. Like it's on my list. The next potential Buddy Read, and I say potential because I don't have the ebook yet, because apparently Bejeweled is popular now, which I'm actually fine with. But The Curse of Chalian is going to be the first book we read in her fantasy series, because there's like 3 novels and a bunch of novellas in that fantasy world, and then there's another thing she's written that's not connected to Verkosigan or that fantasy world, I'm pretty sure. But that's where we're starting. And so if I get the book earlier, I'll probably read it in June. If I don't get it in June, I'll read it in July. But tentatively, our continuing chill read of Bejeweled is starting this summer, and I'm incredibly pumped. And then Freshly Read Books does her TBR spin. And this month, the spin was an author you haven't read from before. And I had 2 options. And I don't know if I chose the right option. I mean, they're both valid. So one was potentially I could have read Grady Hendrix. I had My Best Friend's Exorcism on it. But I also had Happy Place, which felt like summer thematically more appropriate. And I have been meaning to read Emily Henry, and I do read about 1 contemporary romance a month, so why not make it this one? So this is a book I got for free for my birthday last year. Normally I don't buy contemporary romance books or whatever people genre define this to be. But it was for free in the birthday box. So I'm going to try this and not break Evie's heart. If you don't know Evie from She Was Only Evie, loves this book. And I think almost all Emily Henry. So I'm reading that because of Freshly Read Books, TBR Spin, which I adore. And then for myself, I just do a little spinny wheel of my own ARCs collection just to like spice up life a little bit. And so the ARC that it landed on was The City in Glass. Now, I know what you're thinking. Angela, this is not an ARC, this is a finished book. Correct. I'm pretty sure I bought this for myself, but I also have the e-ARC of it. And so I want to read this. I have a lot of Nevo, actually, I want to read this year, but this is one that's also near the top of my list. It was on my TBR spin stack, so it's also just like, cool, I can switch in a different book into the stack. I don't know what this is about. I think it's a city. Yeah, in glass. But I'm pretty sure there's like demons and angels and time passes, and it's about how places change, maybe. I think it's more thematic and ideal based than like plot driven. We'll see. I really liked my favorite Nevo. Oh, what's it called? It's the one that takes place in the golden age of Hollywood. Siren Queen. I really like that and kind of how dreamlike it felt. And I don't know if this will be dreamlike, but I have a sense that that part of her craft is going to come through in this in ways that I don't find that in her novella series. And now I have a stack of books that feel right, but who knows if these are going to happen. I almost feel like I have to pick this one up because it's starting to become one of those books that's on every TBR, and it's like, Angela, why aren't you reading this? Now, to be fair to myself, I've been reading a lot of books lately that have been on my TBRs forever, so I'm doing great. It's okay if one lingers. But that's it, everyone's giving this such high ratings, and I'm getting so concerned that I'm going to be the Debbie Downer about it. But The Raven Scholar. Haven't tried this yet. No reason why other than it just hasn't happened yet. I just haven't picked it up. Because I felt like the Jinbad of Shantyport was a more languishing book on my TBR, so I picked that up instead. And I do want to give this the sit down and physically read it treatment because it has that potential to be a favorite. I do have access to the audiobook from Libro FM, but I haven't tried it yet. So here we are. That's a potential. A bunch of my friends in the Discord are reading this, and there are a bunch of people with similar tastes to me, and they have fun with it. And I have been sick, so I've been attracted to the just having a good time book, just something soap opera, melodramatic, sort of romance type thing. So I do have The Bridge Kingdom, first book that I got on my indie bookstore haul. This book is so pretty, guys. It is so aesthetically pleasing to me. I do not know why. Its map is also like colored at the front. So I don't know if I'll actually get to it. I actually do even have the Kindle, which makes it more likely because I got it from the library, because usually this type of genre I like to read at night when the lighting's not very good. So like I like having the option of the ebook because I'm lazy and like to be under blankets and just like only have my hand out to press the little button. So yeah, I don't know what this is about. I know that it's like a 6-book series split into duologies, romantasy, and I think honestly, I don't really know how this became super popular, because I think the first published book I saw was A Fate Inked in Blood, and I know that got really mixed reviews. So I don't actually know. I think this was written first, but then became popular in the aftermath. I think that's the trajectory. I could be wrong. I'm not on TikTok. And then I was challenging myself to look at the part of my TBR that I don't look at often, where I buy books that I know are more aspirational than like things I want to read. So I need to like remind myself they're there by aggressively shoving them onto a TBR. And so this one is Invasion of the Spirit People. This is a translated work by, I believe, a Mexican author. Yes, I think that's right. I am sorry if I'm incorrect, but this sounds so interesting. Like, it's giving me vibes of, what's one of my favorite books that I've read? And I'm trying to find, yes, Light from Uncommon Stars. This is giving me those vibes. So, like, basically, there's this unnamed city, and we have this person who, he has a dog called Kitten that has cancer. His friend just got into depression because they lost their restaurant, and their son's off on an expedition. And so he has these problems and has a quest, or 3 quests, to search for someone to help him with his dog, to open a restaurant space, and to like learn the truth behind what happened to his son. And it seems like it's going to be satirical and like full of like that literary whimsy that I can find kind of funny. Like, this has an alien on it. I don't foresee this actually being a very speculative genre classic book. But I think it's going to be a fun blend a la like Light from Uncommon Stars, I think. Because when I read the first page of it, I kind of really liked the snark. It has a fun voice to it. So I'm putting on the stack so I can just be like, yeah, maybe we should try this. And it was from Clevo Books, who I love. So, you know, that's my attempts to actually tackle the TBR in some semblance. But again, it's a pretty ambitious situation. I do not know what the semester has in store. We just started this week. But in some ways, it should be pretty straightforward. Because I've taught 2 of the classes before. There's only 1 new class. Most of them are labs, and labs are a little more straightforward than lectures. But I say that, but I'm like kind of like someone who always has to fiddle, and I'm always trying to make my classes better. And, you know, that takes time, which is fine. Like, it's not like it's not worth my time. It's like any time I fiddle now, it helps me in the future. Like today, past me did something that future me was planning to do. And then when I went to go do it, I'm like, oh, I already did this. And it's like glorious when that happens, right? Like that never happens. So anyways, and we finished Andor Season 2. I'm accidentally turning this into a Friday Reads, which you are seeing this on Fridays. But no, this is a TBR. We don't even talk about everything I've done, but I have finished Andor Season 2. Stay tuned. I'm making Ryan watch Rogue One again. I love Rogue One. He's a Rogue One hater. But he loves Andor. So I'm just like, we gotta watch the movie. That's part 3. Anyways, if you made it this far and just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. I guess an alien. I don't know why, but like, I'm pretty sure this emoji exists. So let's do that. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.